McKenna.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Felicia. Hi, everybody. My name is McKenna Blanthorne, and I'm the marketing coordinator here at Silhouette America. I do a lot of different things here at Silhouette. I run the social media, which means I get to see all of the awesome projects that you guys tag us in. I write blog posts, I teach Zoom classes like I'm doing right now, and then a whole bunch of other things. But this is one of my favorite parts of my job because I get to connect with Silhouette users or just crafters in general from all over the world. So I was looking at the chat. And it looks like some of you guys put in where you're from, but some of you guys haven't put in yet. So if you're comfortable leaving me a comment, go ahead and let me know where you're from. And I also want to know how many of you are already Silhouette users, or if you're new to cutting machines, if you own a different cutting machine, just so I can kind of know how I want to take this class and what direction we want to go. So go ahead and put that in the chat for me, and I'm just going to look at it a little bit. I also want to mention that whatever questions you guys might have, you can put them in the chat and I will be looking at it periodically. I try to look at it as much as I can throughout the class, but sometimes if we're in the software, things like that, I miss a couple questions. So awesome. We have Kathy, who is an original Silhouette user, I think. Oh, you guys are putting a lot of stuff in the chat. Thank you guys so much. All right, so it says new to cutting Silhouette is Deanna. Considering purchasing a Silhouette over another cutting machine. This is exactly the class you want to be in if you want to know more about the Silhouette machine. So welcome. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like most of you guys are pretty new. We do have one of my good friends, Kelly Wayment, in the chat. She is another Silhouette teacher, and she's going to be answering questions also. So if I miss any of them in the chat, Kelly is really good at answering the ones because she's just watching the chat for me. So thanks, Kelly. Hi, hope you're having a good day. All right, so a lot of you are new to Silhouette and cutting in general. So I know that cutting machines can feel kind of intimidating if it's not something that you're familiar with. But it's so easy. I am not very good at cutting things with scissors or things like that. I actually just hate in general cutting things with scissors. So when I was introduced to the Silhouette cutting machine, it completely changed everything for me in a crafting sense, and not only a crafting sense, but I use it for a lot of other things like personalization or organizing my kitchen or things like that. So it has a lot of practical uses that aren't just crafting that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on as we go over our 3 different machines. So awesome. So Mary said she's considering purchasing a Silhouette machine, but she already uses the Silhouette Studio software. And that's something that I'm going to talk about later on, is that our software is 100% free. Anybody can download it, and it's a super awesome design software. So we're going to start out by going over our 3 different machines that we sell at Michael's. Sorry, let me just, that's a little tight. Okay, so we're going to start out by just kind of giving you a basic overview of the 3 different cutting machines that we sell at Michael's, the Silhouette machines. So this is the first one. This is the Silhouette Cameo 4, and this is kind of our flagship machine. It's definitely our most popular machine, and it's also one of the most versatile models that we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. It just opens like this little tab, and then I'm going to turn it on. There's a power button over here. And when you purchase your Cameo 4, it will come with the machine, the power cable over here. It will come with a USB cable, which I actually need to grab, and then also a blade, an auto blade, and then also a, oh, here's the USB cable. It is plugged in. It was just falling behind the table. And then also a mat. So let me show you what the mat looks like. So this is the 12 by 12 silhouette mat. And we do sell a couple different options. There's a 12 by 24 mat if you're wanting to cut media that's a little bit longer. And then there's also a Portrait 3 mat, which I'll go over, which is smaller, and you can use all 3 of those mats in the Cameo 4. So the Cameo 4 is 12 inches wide, so it can cut 12 inches in width, and it can cut up to 10 feet in length. With the vinyl roll feeder. So this is the roll feeder that pulls out like a drawer, and then it pops up like this, and you would set your vinyl inside of it like this, your roll of vinyl. You would feed it through here and then load it. And then if this roll of vinyl is almost gone, so obviously it's not 10 feet long, but it would just keep going and going behind it and building up behind it up to 10 feet in length. So that's the cutting dimensions of the Cameo 4, and then I want to talk to you about the cutting capabilities. So the Cameo 4 is an incredibly versatile cutting machine. We know that if you're new to cutting machines, chances are you're probably going to use it for pretty standard things like vinyl, heat transfer, or paper, which are definitely our three most popular materials that people use, but also the Cameo 4 with other specialty blades and inserts. It can cut craft foam, leather, fabric, a whole bunch of other things. So we have a complete list on our website of the things that the Cameo 4 can cut, but those are just some of the materials that come to my mind instantly. And you would have to purchase the tools that go in the second carriage that don't come with the Cameo 4. But like I said, if you're buying it, if you're new to cutting machines and you're just starting out, the Auto Blade is going to do everything for you that you would need. So that's the Cameo 4. I do want to know if anybody has any questions I can answer about the Cameo 4 specifically. I know that was just kind of a fast little overview. So you guys have a lot of things in the chat. So, all right, so Kathy said she needs to learn how to design. So in this class specifically, this is more of an overview of the machines and then also a little bit of the software, just purchasing a design from the design store and then opening it in the software. So in the upcoming weeks, we do have a class every single Wednesday, and that's more of your design classes that you're going to be wanting to know about. But if you aren't just brand new to Silhouette and wanting to know the basics of the machine, you're going to want to tune into our classes, because this class is very basic, very beginner friendly. So Glenda said, I find the machine does not cut on the automatic settings for paper or vinyl. Any ideas why? So Glenda, I will say that that might be your blade. Sometimes the Auto Blade does get jammed and you just have to open it up and clean it out, and that's my biggest recommendation. But also just every paper and every vinyl is completely different. This vinyl is our Silhouette vinyl that I'm going to be using today that we sell on our website, but you know, you can buy so many brands of vinyl at Caesar or so many other brands at Michael's that they sell. You just walk down the vinyl aisle and it's just tons of vinyl. So we do always recommend doing a test cut just to make sure that the brand of vinyl that you're using is going to work, because our vinyl is what the settings are made with, is the Silhouette brand vinyl. And then with paper, I always bump my settings up with paper because it's so thick and I just like a nice clean cut. So I actually always bump my settings up, even if the default setting says a certain number. I will show you guys how to bump it up a little bit just to guarantee that. But like I said, always perform a test cut, which we will talk about. Okay. All right, and the Cameo 4 etch on metal. So this machine doesn't etch. The Curio machine etches, but the Cameo 4 is not an etching machine. So that's not something that the Cameo 4 can do. It's just a cutting machine. Oh, and a sketch machine. It does sketch for you with the sketch pens also. Okay, somebody said, Jurgen said, I'd like to know about adjusting the blade. I've had a few problems with bunching and not sure where to start with troubleshooting. So like I said, this class is a beginner class, and that's not something that we're going to have time to cover because this is just an introduction class. So definitely contact our customer support on our website or our social media channels, and they'll be able to help you with that. That's the best way to get through to troubleshooting with the machines. Okay, and then I think I saw one more question. Maybe not. Okay, well, that's the Cameo 4. So if you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. We're going to go ahead and talk about our Portrait 3 machine. So this is the Portrait 3. It's definitely smaller than the Cameo 4, and it is perfect for small crafts. It cuts 8.5 by 11 paper is its default size. So if you're doing mostly print and cut, this is a great project or a great machine for you. And print and cut just means when you print something out with a printer and then the machine cuts it for you. It'll do like a really nice borderline cut around it. And that is a next level skill, but a lot of our customers really like making stickers or just cards in general, and this is an awesome product for that. It's also really nice because it just has a smaller footprint. So if I'm doing something like on my kitchen counter or something like that and I don't want to pull out the big Cameo 4, I always just reach for the Portrait 3 because it's really small, it's really easy to use. We do sell 9-inch vinyl that is specifically made for this machine, so you don't have to cut it down, but it also comes with a blade, a mat, the cable, and then I forgot to mention, but the Portrait 3 and the Cameo 4 are both Bluetooth compatible. So even though it comes with a USB cord for those who don't have Bluetooth, these are Bluetooth compatible. So that's the Portrait 3. And then it doesn't look like we have any specific questions about that one. I love the Portrait 3. If you're looking for a print and cut product, this is my favorite product to use for print and cut. It works really, really well, and it's just super easy to use for that. And then let's go ahead and pull out the Cameo Pro. So this is the largest cutting machine, the largest DIY cutting machine on the market. So if you are a big time crafter and you're looking to make really big projects or cut out a lot of things at once, the Cameo Pro is for you. So the Cameo Pro cuts up to 24 inches in width, which is 2 feet, obviously, which is double that of the Cameo 4, and it can also cut up to 10 feet in length. So it has the same length capability as the Cameo 4, but you can obviously just cut a lot bigger, and this just allows you to make projects that are giant. Last week, we did a Facebook Live with Kelly Wayment where we showed off a lot of different Cameo Pro projects, so if you're interested in what you can make with the Cameo 4, go on our Silhouette Facebook page, and you'll be able to see that Facebook Live that we did. And it was really, really fun to see them so big. This is definitely something that needs its own space because you have to have enough space to cut forwards and backwards while the paper or vinyl is still supported. So it's a super awesome machine. You can buy it on michaels.com. In some Michaels stores, you might find it in stock, but you're better off looking on the website, and it's a super awesome machine. So does anybody have any questions about the Cameo Pro? It pretty much has all the same cutting capabilities as the Cameo 4. It can just cut bigger, but as you can see, it looks exactly the same on the inside, just longer. So it has the second carriage that has more power to cut other materials, and it has the slot for the auto blade. And this one would also come with a blade, a mat, and your power cord and your USB cord. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions about these machines. So the next thing that I want to do is I just want to show you guys where you can purchase these on Michaels' website. So I'm going to go ahead and start my screen share and then just pull up, sorry, I'm just going to click yes. All right, pull up michaels.com. And this will also show you how much the machines cost. So I'm just going to type in Silhouette Portrait 3 first. So there it is, the Silhouette Portrait 3 machine. All right, so this one is $199.99 and it does ship for free. And this one is definitely more available in stores, like my local store. It is actually available for free pickup if I order before 5. So there's a lot of options for shipping that you can do. You can ship same day even. So that's the Portrait 3. It's a super awesome machine. That's our smallest machine. And then we're going to do Silhouette Cameo 4. Okay, so the Cameo 4 comes in a couple different colors. As you can see here, it comes in our traditional white, comes in a bubblegum pink, and then a midnight black. So those are the 3 options, and it is $299. And I believe it is also in stock currently. Yes, it is. So you can do store pickup, same day delivery, or shipping also. And it would qualify for free shipping also. And then the Cameo Pro was right here, and this machine is $499.99. And like I said, it's definitely something that if you're really into crafting, or maybe you already have a Silhouette machine, you would want this machine. It looks like it actually is in stock right now, and it actually flies off the shelves every time we stock it. So if you're thinking about getting the Cameo Pro, this is actually a kind of public announcement to order it now if you're thinking about getting it, because it does go out of stock, and we can't always guarantee when we're going to get them back in stock. So that's the Cameo Pro, $499.99. Awesome. So Glenda asked, is there a chart someplace that lists what settings for each material and which blades to use for what? So Kelly added the chart for us. So thank you so much, Kelly. So Glenda, you can check that out. And awesome. Okay, so it sounds like we're kind of ready to go ahead and jump into the actual project making, and so you guys can see the silhouette in action. So I'm going to go ahead and start my screen share, and we're just going to kind of go from the start. So I'm just going to close this Safari tab, and this is what it looks like when you open your Silhouette Studio. Oh, it's actually frozen. I think it's just my Zoom that's messing with it. So I just went ahead and quit that. And then I'm just going to come down here, and then I'm just going to double click my Silhouette Studio tab. It's just the Silhouette logo, pretty easy to recognize, and it just takes a second to load because it is a really big program and my computer is a little bit of an old computer. So I have the business edition. So one thing that I want to talk about is, even though our software is free for anybody to download, you can do a one-time upgraded purchase for more tools. So not all of these tools are included in the basic edition. A lot of them are, mostly like the Flexi Shapes tool, you only get these 4 shapes rather than all of these shapes. So it's definitely not mandatory. You don't need it at all, but it is something that you can do if you're interested in more designer features. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you pull up your Silhouette Studio window. Sorry, my Zoom thing keeps getting in the way, and I know you guys can't see it, but okay, we'll put it there. So you have a standard page that's set up for you. So the first thing that I always do is I go to the page setup right here, and then I just select the machine that I'm using. I'm using the Cameo cutting mat. And then I'm going to use vinyl today, and I will be cutting it down. And I'll show you guys how to do that after we pick out our design that we're going to be using. But this is the basic setup of your mat. This is what it should look like when you open it. If it doesn't look like this, just make sure you have the correct machine selected and the correct cutting mat selected. So what I want to do now is I want to go into the design store with you. So you just click this store tab in the software, and it will open up the Silhouette Design Store. If you don't do that, you can also just type in silhouettedesignstore.com, and it will bring up the website for you. So as you guys can see, we're always running sales. We always have special designs that we're promoting, and we also always have a free design of the week. Right now it is this cute little turkey, so you should download it for Thanksgiving. And even if you don't have a Silhouette cutting machine right now, you can also download an SVG file that you can save, and it's also free. So go ahead and check that out. But I actually want to know what you guys want to see me create today. So I'm going to stop my screen share to show you what I have to make today. So I have this little white box from Michaels. I'm kind of thinking it would be like a little gift box. It has a little plastic thing in it. So I just have this little gift box, and I just want to put some vinyl on the top. So I kind of want to know what you guys want to see. I just have red vinyl because we're just doing a single color cut today. So maybe we could do a really simple Santa Claus, or we could do some words, maybe Merry Christmas, something like that. So in the chat, I want to know what you guys want to see. So tell me, maybe let's vote between that. Let's vote between a Santa Claus or a like Merry Christmas phrase. Okay, we have 1 vote for each so far. Okay, so it looks like Santa Claus is pulling out, which is good because I want to show you guys how to search things in the design store. So I'm going to start my screen share again. Awesome. And then I'm just going to come up here, and I'm just going to type Santa in the search bar. And then there's a whole lot of different Santas that we could do. I do kind of want to aim for one that's like one color. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. I want to do something pretty simple and pretty easy. Okay, I think this one, actually we're gonna do this one. This one looks like pretty easy and pretty simple, but also has some good weaving to it. So I'll be able to share some tips with you guys. So you just click it and then you'll just click this little blue cart and then you'll click the blue arrow, which will take you to your shopping cart. And then you'll just click checkout. And then it will have you type your password and then you'll just click submit. And that's all you have to do with the design store. So then we come back into our Silhouette Studio and I'm just going to click the library. And I have so many designs. As you guys can see, I have 1,416 designs. So a whole lot of designs. And I could scroll down through them, but there's a lot of them. So I'm just going to type Santa in the top, which is a great way to keyword search. And this is actually what I wanted to happen. The Santa that we just downloaded is not showing up. So all I need to do is I just need to press the sync button. And it says I'm working offline. Okay, it's just going to make me sign in real quick. Okay. All right, so sometimes things like this happen when you're doing things live, right? So I'm just going to come up here and just type in Santa. And since it wasn't showing up, I just needed to press my sync button down here, and that just will line up anything that you've recently purchased from the design store with your library. So this is the Santa that we're using. So I'm just going to double click him to open him in my Silhouette Studio. And like I said, this part of the Silhouette Studio today is going to be kept extremely basic because I just want you to know that anybody can use Silhouette Studio. I don't want it to feel intimidating or anything like that. So any questions that you might have, I just want you guys to go ahead and ask. I do have the chat open. So go ahead and keep any questions that you might have coming in the chat, and I'm trying to look at those as much as I can. So as a side note, Annette asked, will this class be saved? I had to come to work. So this class is being recorded and it will be posted on Michael's YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours. So Annette, we're so sorry that you have to leave, but thank you so much for joining us, and you can totally tune in later to see the rest of the class. So Glenda asks, will there be a class soon on cutting a more complicated file? So we will cover that. Like I said, we do classes every single week that are more complicated projects, as this is just a beginner class. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you guys how you can change the color of your file. And this is a really, really easy thing to do. You just open this paint palette right here that's called the fill panel. And then I'm cutting it in red, so I just like to color it red, just so I can see it better. It doesn't actually change anything for the actual cutting of the file, but I just prefer to do that so that I can know what I'm cutting. So the first thing that we want to do now is we just want to resize the file. So we're just going to come up here to this width and height part, and we need to make sure that the lock is closed. And then what we're going to do is just type how big we want it. I didn't measure our box beforehand, but I just want to actually share a tip with you. So I'm going to stop the screen share. So I don't have a ruler sitting right next to me or anything, but the mat is actually cut into 1-inch squares. So one thing that I like to do when I don't have a ruler is I just take my piece, my box or my plate or whatever I'm using, and then I just lay the mat on top of it. And as you can see, it's a 3x3 box. So it's kind of just a little helpful hint on measuring things when you don't have a ruler close by. So the box is 3x3. So that means that I want my design to be about 2.5 inches. I like to leave a 1/2 inch around it. So I'm just going to go ahead and come up here in my width, and then I'm just going to type 2.5. Sorry guys, my computer today is being so slow. Okay, and then that actually made the height 3.1. And since we need it to fit on the box, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. So maybe I'll do 2.75 for the height. And that'll be like about 2 inches tall. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it into the corner. My zoom window is right in the way. Okay, so we just bring it right down to the corner. I'm going to open up the chat to see what you guys are saying. Perfect. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any more questions at this point. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hop into the send panel. Actually, I'm going to stop my screen share one more time. I'm sorry, this class has been very back and forth between the computer and the not computer. But what I want to do now is I'm going to show you guys how you can just set up your piece on your mat of vinyl. So like I said, the Cameo 4 can cut matless. It can cut any brand of vinyl matless, which is unique to the Cameo 4. But since we're cutting such a small piece today, I actually don't want to cut matless. So I'm going to show you guys how I prepare my mat with my piece of vinyl. So one thing that I really like about a lot of brands of vinyl, including the Silhouette vinyl, is that it has 1-inch scored lines along the back, so you know how big to cut your piece. So like I said, this is 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a 3-inch square of my vinyl, and I know that my design will fit on that. It's very curly. Perfect. Okay, so that's all I need to do for my vinyl. So I just set that to the side, and this is a little 1/2-inch piece. I could have just eyeballed this piece, but I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to cut along the squares. So that's why I didn't. But then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that up here in my corner of my mat. And then we're going to load that into the machine before we go into the send panel. So I'm just going to pick that up and just line it up with this gray mark. You probably can't see it super well, but it's this little gray line right here. That's a better view of it. And then we're just going to press the upward arrow to load it into our machine. And that's all you have to do to load the machine into the mat and prepare it to cut. So we're going to start the screen share again. And one thing that's really cool that you can do is you can select your media size. So right now the machine thinks that we put vinyl across the entire mat, which isn't necessarily a problem if you know for sure that this Santo will fit in your piece that you did. But one thing that you can do is we made our media 3x3. So you can just cut, or you can just type your numbers that fit there. And as you can see, it actually would have gotten cut off because I had Santa too far down. So I just need to move him up a little bit. And as long as we're inside this red cutting line, we're totally fine. So he will be kind of tight on there lengthwise, but we'll be totally good. And that's just a helpful tip that you don't have to necessarily use, but it just makes your cutting easier. All right, so now we're going to come into the send panel, and we're going to open up this material setting. And this is what we were talking about, the automated settings. And I'm using vinyl, so I'm just going to type vinyl, and then I'm using the matte vinyl. And this is just the default settings for the matte vinyl that we have found. I know that my blade isn't brand new, so one thing that I like to do in that case is I like to bump up my vinyl to a 2, and then I'm actually going to perform a test cut. So a test cut is just testing to see if the vinyl settings that you've selected are a good fit. So I'm just going to click test down here. And this is something that we recommend doing with all, pretty much any material that you're using that you haven't used before. I always do a test cut. I almost always do a test cut in general just to make sure. So it's kind of hard to see with the matte vinyl, but it does leave a little triangle and then a rectangle. And the way that you can see it, you just weed it out with your Silhouette hook tool. And let me just put this back here. Wants to stick to my finger. Okay, so you can see that the triangle came out super easily, and then the rectangle or the square also peeled up really, really easily. So that's how we know that our vinyl settings are right and that they're going to cut really, really well with this design. So I'm just going to load it back into the machine, and then I'm just going to start it. And I will show you to start it. Let me start this screen share. So to start it, all you do is press this send button down here. Okay, now is a great time to ask any questions that you guys might have as the machine cuts. Okay, awesome. It looks like Kelly is doing super good at answering you guys' questions. So one thing that I'm gonna do while this is cutting is I just want to cut down my transfer tape. So transfer tape is what we'll use to transfer our vinyl to our project. And it looks like these ones are every ½ inch, I think. Yeah. So this one also has a grid. This is the Aura tape, and this is what we recommend. It's my favorite transfer tape. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut. I'm not gonna really measure this one because I know my Santa isn't 3 by 3. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. But I still always like to cut along the grid just to make sure I have a nice clean line. Okay, so there's our transfer tape. Awesome, so our machine just finished cutting. Oh, somebody asked what is the design number? That's a super good question. So let me open up my software again to show you guys what the design number means. So the design number in the Silhouette Design Store, we have over 200,000 designs, and the design number is how you guys can search and find this exact Santa. So each design is given a specific number, and this design is 23427. So you would go into the Silhouette Design Store, and in the search bar, you would put that number, and I already forgot it. Let's see, 23427. 23427. Okay. I think I got that wrong. Yes, I got that wrong. Oh man. Okay. 23427. Oh, I just had an extra 4. Okay. 23427. So you just type in the design number and then it would pull up that exact design. So thank you so much for asking that question. And pretty much any project that we post on social media or any design that we share or anything like that, any class we teach, we would always include the design ID number so that you guys would be able to find it too. Okay. So somebody asked what transfer tape is that? This is the Aura tape transfer tape by Oracle. So I'm going to go ahead and unload my design because I did a test cut so that I know that it cut all the way through. And then I'm just going to peel the vinyl and the backing off of the mat. And always keep this blue piece that comes with your mat. This is the cover to keep it from getting dust or hair or anything like that in your craft room on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath. Okay, and any questions that you guys might have? Awesome. Kelly put a link to Aura tape in there, but there's so many kinds of transfer tape that you can purchase. And I think I have seen Aura tape at Michael's. So just keep that in mind. Yes, Felicia put the link to the Aura tape. So thank you guys so much. Yes, and then somebody asked if there's a difference between Mac computers and other computers, and it's pretty much the same. Your keyboard shortcuts are going to be different, but the overall process of using the software is exactly the same. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and weed this little Santa Claus. I'm going to actually move over here, move my computer to the side. We're not using the machine anymore, so I'm just going to scoot it out of the way. Okay, so what I like to do when I weed is I actually like to find a piece that's close to the edge and actually break the vinyl, obviously the vinyl that I'm not using, just so I can peel it up from one side rather than peeling it from both sides. And then you're just going to go really, really slow. As you can see, the vinyl cut super well, which is one of the awesome things about the Silhouette cutting machines. Looks like right here, it's a little tiny line. This design is actually pretty thin lines. So I'm just going to put this right here. Since it's a very small piece of vinyl, I'm just going to use this to discard all of my other pieces, because I'm not really wasting anything, because it's such a small piece of vinyl anyway. So be careful. I just accidentally tried to take up a piece that wasn't supposed to be removed. So just be careful when you're removing that, you're being conscious of the pieces that you're taking away. And I highly recommend this Silhouette hook tool. If you're doing vinyl projects, it's really easy to use and it just picks up everything really, really nice. And I think we sell that at Michael's too. If not, they would have other hook tools, or you could find it on our website also. All right, and as you can see, this is pretty easy. I know that some people really don't like weeding when it comes to crafting, but I think it's really fun. And I've done really, really big designs and really, really small designs, and I enjoy both of them. So this is such a cute little file. I saw someone when we were asking about if you guys wanted me to do Merry Christmas or a Santa, someone said that we had to do Thanksgiving. And one thing that I just have to say is we were doing our Thanksgiving crafting such a long time ago. We've been doing our Christmas crafts for a couple weeks now, just because when you're doing crafting, you need to finish everything in time to like have it on display for Christmas. Or in this case, it's a gift box, so you need to have all your wrapping prepared. So I know it's a little bit crazy that it's November and we're doing Christmas stuff, but that's why, just because in the crafting world, you have to get things done beforehand so you can actually enjoy it and use it. Awesome, we're almost done weeding this design. Okay, so somebody asked if this file is free, and this file isn't free just because it's our class, our premium class. I just asked you guys what you wanted to see being cut, and while I actually am performing this project for you, it's not a step-by-step tutorial. So this class is more just an introduction class, but like Kelly just commented, all of our project-based classes are free designs. So that's kind of an explanation on that question. And I wasn't sure what you guys would want to see cut today, so that was why I didn't use the turkey, but I could have used the turkey, which is the free design this week. Awesome. So now I have it all weeded. It's a very cute little design. And as you guys can see, all of the pieces came out really, really easily. The vinyl cut super well. The blade worked great. So I love when that happens. And then I'm just going to use this piece of transfer tape to put it on the box. And we're kind of wrapping up our class. I know that it was going to be about an hour, but we've gone pretty fast. So go ahead and ask any questions that you guys might have. We'll have a little bit of extra time even. So to use the transfer tape, I just peeled this backing off, and then I just placed it right on top. And then I'm using this Silhouette spatula tool. Actually, I think this is the scraper. And I'm just going over it a few times just to get any bubbles out and to get it to stick super, super well to the transfer tape. I want to know what you guys have thought about this class. Are you still thinking about cutting machines? What do you think about cutting machines after this class? Are you nervous still? Just kind of tell me. All right, his little eyes didn't stick super well the first time, so I just stuck it back down, and they stuck really well. All right, so this is what it looks like when you have it on your transfer tape. I think it's so fun because it's clear and you can see your box. And then all you need to do is just place it right in the middle of your box or wherever you're putting it. And I just kind of always eyeball it. I've never really gotten a ruler out or anything and made it. And then you're just going to go over it a few times. Okay, and then you're just going to slowly peel away your transfer tape. And this is a very, very cute little gift box that you can use. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. I do want to go over a couple more things. So it looks like we have some questions. So some of you guys are still interested in looking into a Cameo 4, which is super awesome. I'm super excited for you guys. You can purchase them through Michael's right now. They're in stock. Some of you are still nervous, and that's okay, because I am definitely not myself a beginner with Silhouette. I tried to keep this class very, very basic, but I know that some people aren't super great with computers or things like that. But just know that you guys can do it. We have users of all different skill levels, of all different computer experience, and also users of all different ages, all the way from kids to adults that are much older. So I know that you guys can do it no matter what, even if it does have a little bit of a learning curve to it. It's something that you won't regret investing the time in learning how to do. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Somebody said, can you show the box again, please? So we'll just do a close-up on that real quick. Awesome. Yes, these two tools are purchased separately from the initial kit. Okay, awesome. So Sharon said that she's had a Cameo 3 for years, but she didn't know how to maneuver the design space. So I hope that this was simple and helped you, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us today. So one thing that I wanted to go over in this class was the other classes that we're going to be having, because I know a lot of people were asking about that. This class is very basic. The project isn't necessarily what the class is about. It's more just how to cut with your Silhouette machine. So I'm going to open up our blog, silhouette101.com, and I'm just going to show you guys the different classes that we're going to be offering the rest of the month. So I just clicked this November Zoom classes. We do one of these blog posts every month that has just a breakdown of all of the classes we're going to be doing. So, oh, I got a screen share. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so these are the classes that we're doing this month. So this is the Why Silhouette class. This is the class you guys are in. Then we do have some different classes that we're offering. So the Christmas Advent folded card next Wednesday is a Michael's promoted class. And then these two are a Silhouette promoted class with Lori Whitlock. So those are separate from the Michael's classes, but if you want to register for the next Michael's class, it's next Wednesday. And then the last class of the month is our premium class, and those are $20. This class is offered for free. It is simple, even though it's intermediate. It's between this class and between the premium classes. So it will be a project card, it will be a free file, and you'll learn how to do it. This one's paper. And then the floral thankful sign, I'm just going to go ahead and click on it so you can see it. So this one is being taught by Kelly Waymont, who was answering you guys' questions today. And Kelly is the queen of Silhouette. She knows all the tips, all the tricks, all the software, anything like that. And that's why it's a premium class, because you have the opportunity to come to Kelly's class and learn about all of these tools that she's using, very different tools. And also you just get to ask her questions and things like that. There is a cap of, I believe, 50 people in these classes. So make sure you register now before later if you're interested in joining that class. And then that's all for November, because we have Thanksgiving the next week. But then in December, we'll be offering this class again. So if you want another basic refresher of the class, you can join this class the first week of December. And then we'll be offering more classes throughout the month of December also. So let me just look through the chat real quick. Sharon asked how to register. So Sharon, go to our silhouette101.com blog and then go to that page, and then you'll be able to find them on the Michael's online classes. Those links will take you directly to it, but also if you just want to go to Michael's online classes, you'll be able to click through and find all of the classes. But that's just the fast way to get to it, is going through our blog because we have it linked already. But awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I've loved having you guys. Thanks so much for making this little gift box with me, and hopefully I'll see you next month in our December class. Thanks. Have a great day.